Adam here from the Walser Automotive Group, and what I want to do today is take you on a test drive. So next to me here, I have the 2025 Nissan Armada. We'll look at the interior, exterior, some of the trim level specifics, then go for a spin around, see what it's like out on the road. Okay, so now we're behind the wheel of the 25 Armada, and this is the Platinum trim. So there's going to be 5 different trim levels when looking at the Armada, all the way up to the Platinum Reserve. There's an off-road focused Pro 4X, but this one gives you a good look at a lot of equipment that you can add to these vehicles. Now, the 24 to 25 Armada is going to be completely different. Nissan redesigned this vehicle from pretty much the tires on up, and there's a lot of good stuff. Let's start with the engine before we even get going. So they've gone away from the V8, but they've added a 3.5 liter twin turbo V6. Now that's good for 425 horsepower, and it's good for towing of up to 8,500 pounds when properly equipped. Now, some of the models will come with the trailer brake controller installed. All the other ones will still have the wiring in there if you do want to install that. Whether you're towing the boat, the camper, or anything else, this can definitely get that done for you. Now there's a 2-wheel drive or the intelligent 4-wheel drive option. This one, obviously you can see it's a little snowy today, so this one does have the 4-wheel drive system that does work very nicely with this vehicle, and they did go with a 9-speed automatic transmission. It is flawless. I love how it rides and drives out on the road. I was blown away at just how nice it is. So before we get any more into it, let's put it in drive, go for a spin around. Now let's begin with the inside. So we get dual 14.3-inch displays. Now one side is going to be the infotainment screen, so that's giving me wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Then on the other side, we've got our digital gauge cluster. Now that's going to be controlled either by touch or on the right side of the steering wheel here. There's 2 little kind of buttons or sides you can switch through. So you can either do the left side or the right side. And if you switch to the right side, it pulls up a little menu on the bottom, so you don't have to lose your focus on the road ahead. You can use the little scroll wheel here that's newly designed from Nissan, or you can switch back to the left, go over to the gauge cluster. Once you figure it out, it's a really cool system and it works very well. Now with the wireless Apple CarPlay in here, Google Maps, text messaging, Spotify, all that's going to be built in, and the system is quick. There's no lag in the screen. It's not like waiting for something to happen. I can go to the home screen. That's still going to have built-in navigation on this model, and you can also control the climate from up here, which is pretty cool, and you still do have physical buttons. So if you don't like the touchscreen for that, whether it's the heated, ventilated seats, those are physical buttons and on the touchscreen. Now, the ride and drive, like I said, is so nice. I was blown away at just how comfortable it is. Now, the ride and drive is absolutely wonderful. We got some railroad tracks here. It just floats over the top of them. And in the Platinum Reserve, you can also do an air suspension in that model, which if you're towing or want even just a little bit more comfort, you can do that as well. But I was blown away just how nice this was out on the road. I was cruising around this afternoon, drove over to the park there, and it's just so pleasant. It's so quiet in here. It almost sounds like an EV when you're just cruising at about 30 miles an hour. So when I have my CarPlay hooked up, I have my tunes going, and this does get the Klipsch sound system, which is crazy good. There's a demo you can actually go through in the menu screen there. It will show you some of the new features and give you an audio demo of the system. It is wild just how good it is in here, and definitely makes a difference in the Platinum. Now, looking at the exterior of the Armada again, this one does get the full redesign, like I said, up front, out back. It's very similar to the Infiniti QX80. Now, this one gets the LED daytime running lights, and the lights kind of run almost through the top of the chrome of the grille. It does look really good. It's a very stylish looking front end, and it has quite the road presence to it when coming down the road. Now, like I said, with the 3.5 liter twin turbo, I thought I was going to miss the V8 a little bit, but it's not noisy. It just gets the job done. You are getting a little bit better fuel economy than the outgoing Armada as well. And this one does ride on the 20-inch machine finished wheels. It looks really good. With the dark blue, with the lighter tan in here, it's a very classy interior and definitely feels very luxurious. Now, obviously, if you're looking at a full-size SUV, you want to know about the third row. So you get 3 seats in the back, and then this one does have the captain's chair for that second row. But in the third row, there's a USB-C charging back there, and there's actually a power seat as well. So if you open the power lift gate, which is actually also foot activated, so you can just swing your foot underneath and that'll kick open for you. But then there's little buttons on the right side that you can power fold and bring back up the third row, or just power fold the second row down. It basically feels like a cargo van. When everything's knocked down, you have so much room for storing and hauling back there. And if you want, you can actually just fold one side or the other, which is really convenient. I mean, there's so much room in this Armada. They actually added about just over 4 inches of extra legroom for that third row as well. So I'm over 6 feet tall. I crawled in the back and I actually had room back there, which is pretty rare these days for a third row SUV. Now looking at the second row, those are going to be heated seats. They also get another zone climate control back there. There's vents in the back, there's USB-C charging, and there's a cool little storage area on the ground. They figure everybody's probably got their cell phones these days, so it makes it easy to keep your phones charged up, whether you're in the second or third row, and just a little bit of extra storage and cup holder area. Now, in the driver's seat, like I said, with the dual displays here, it's amazing. The CarPlay works so good, the navigation built into the system is really cool, and there's so much cool equipment and safety built into these vehicles. Now, this one also does have the optional Pro Pilot 2.1. So that's a pretty cool safety feature as well. If you're interested in that, we do have another video on how that works that I can link down below. But just the added safety features of having kind of a little bit of help when you're on the road, whether it's through the blind spot monitoring, there's an adaptive cruise control. So you can set 3, 2, 1 car length distance ahead of you. It's going to keep that distance when you're on the road. It's very convenient and it makes it very safe and easy to eat up a lot of highway miles. Now the steering wheel is also really comfortable. It's a heated leather wrapped steering wheel, absolutely one of my favorite features. Heated ventilated seats. Nissan to me has the best seats out. They're always so comfortable from the base model on up. I mean, it's just something you could get in this vehicle and I feel like I could go 400 miles and not even think twice about it. It's quiet, it's comfortable, all the technology in here is great. I love the panoramic sunroof up above, especially if you got the kiddos in the back seat. They're gonna love how much that opens it up in here, and it really does make a difference. Now, one other thing that's pretty neat, this actually comes built in with a dash cam. So it's a forward-facing dash cam, and it will also look out back. You can record through there, you can take a picture, and there's also a camera in here so you can see the inside of the vehicle. So you can actually pull it up, kind of see what's going on. If you're wondering what the kids are doing in the back seat, you can look through that as well. But there's so much stuff built into the infotainment screen. I mean, you're getting so much technology in these new vehicles, and you think it would be overcomplicated or maybe a little confusing, but I hopped in right away. I was able to figure it all out. It's easy, and I do still like that they kept the physical buttons down here. As well, you can go between an auto, 4 high, and 4 low, and there's a ton of different drive modes. So whether you're towing, going through the snow, maybe find yourself off-road a little bit, those modes can certainly help you out there. And then you also have a shift-by-wire system. So you just have your little buttons down here on the dash, and what that does is frees up a huge cargo area underneath here. So you have a little storage area underneath, whether it's your purse or anything else you want to throw down there. It just gives you a little bit of added storage as well. So I think you can probably tell by the video, I was blown away. I knew it was going to be good, but I was very surprised at just how comfortable and quiet the Armada is. I mean, spending some time in the old one, it feels more like a truck. Obviously, this is still body-on-frame design, but it feels like a luxury SUV. And that's what I wanted out of this vehicle, and they absolutely delivered on that front. It's so quiet and comfortable in here. All the technology is great. The seats are so comfortable that, I mean, this is easily a daily drivable vehicle. It's not hard to park. I thought it was going to be a little tricky, but the backup camera in here is simply amazing. There's a little button you can actually press right here on the dash. That pulls up a full 360 side to side. It gives you an invisible hood so you can see what's going on there. You can select with the 360 cam which way you want to look to see what's going on. If you hit something, you would have to be trying very hard because it does just work so well. Now that we're parked here, we do have to talk about pricing. So MSRP does start around $58,000. And as you work your way up the trim levels, this Platinum is going to come in around $80,000. And then the range topping Reserve, which would be the Platinum Reserve, is just going to be a little bit more. But I mean, if you're shopping Audi, BMW, I mean, looking at the Infinity, you're getting so much equipment in this vehicle, whether it's the incredible sound system or technology or just the great ride and drive out on the road. I think if you're in the market for one of these larger third row SUVs, whether, like I said, it's a Suburban or one of these Nissans, this is absolutely a great contender for this market. And I think one to get out, take for a spin and see what you think. Now that was just a quick look and drive at the 25 Nissan Armada. Now if you have any other questions or you'd like to schedule a test drive, you can visit us online at walser.com or stop by anytime. We'd be more than happy to help. Thanks again for watching.